Hey everyone, quick question. Simple, but honest. Have you ever stood on the edge? Not metaphorically, not philosophically. I mean literally. When there's no asphalt under your feet, no floor, no step, just emptiness. When your brain goes, all right, stop. But your body, for some reason, keeps moving forward. Fear is a strange thing. We live in one of the safest times ever. Seatbelts, harnesses, instructions, warning signs. Do not enter. Do not jump. Do not cross. And yet, millions of people willingly pay money to step closer to the edge, to stand over a void, to sit in a seat that's about to drop, to take a step to a place where, by every law of logic, a human being should not be. Why? The answer is simple: to feel alive. Not on the level of I exist, but on the level of heart pounding, palms sweating, breathing off rhythm, and that constant thought of, I can still change my mind. And here's the most interesting part. What really scares us isn't the fall itself. It's the waiting, the pause, that moment when you've already said yes, but you still have time to say no. That's when imagination kicks in. It paints the worst case scenarios. It makes the drop deeper, the height taller, and quietly erases every harness, cable, and safety line. And today, that's exactly where we're going. Not just to rides, but to places where people come face to face with their fear. And we'll start with a location that's become a legend, a place where the word path sounds like a bad joke. The Death Path on Mount Huashan, China. If you're afraid of heights, bad news. You probably shouldn't picture this place too vividly. And if you're not afraid of heights, well, welcome. Mount Huashan is one of China's 5 sacred mountains. It's ancient, beautiful, a major tourist destination, and absolutely unforgiving to anyone with shaky legs. Somewhere along its sheer rock face runs a route with a poetic name, Changkong Plank Road, which translates to the road over the void. Most people call it something much simpler and much more honest, the death path. And for once, that's not clickbait. Picture a vertical cliff, not a slope, not an edge, a nearly perfectly flat stone wall. Now imagine narrow wooden planks bolted directly into that wall, or small footholds carved straight into the rock. That's it. That's the path. Some parts of it are over 700 years old, originally built by Taoist monks. No railings, no fences, no safety barriers, just planks barely wider than your foot, metal spikes, chains, and a drop beneath you. How deep? Hundreds of meters. The trail sits at about 7,100 feet above sea level, and the exposed section stretches for roughly 430 feet. Yes, tourists are given safety harnesses. Yes, you're clipped in. But here's the problem. A harness doesn't turn off instinct. It doesn't stop your legs from shaking. It doesn't silence that feeling that you are doing something deeply, fundamentally wrong. The hardest part isn't the middle of the path. The hardest part is the first step. You're standing on a relatively safe platform, rock behind you, a narrow plank in front of you, leading into nothing. And that's when the thought appears. Maybe I don't have to do this, but you're already there. People are behind you. Some are moving forward. Some are frozen, gripping the chain like their life depends on it. Others just stand there staring straight down, clearly regretting every decision that led them here. Once you step onto the path, one thing becomes very clear. Turning around is harder than going forward. Under your feet, thin wood. Beside you, cold stone. Below you, air. A lot of air. Sometimes the wind picks up. Sometimes fog rolls in. And then you lose all sense of up and down like you're suspended in empty space. The chains you cling to are cold and rough. You grab them as if your life depends on it, because technically, it does. Here's a fun fact. For centuries, there were no safety harnesses at all. People crossed using only the chains. And yes, sometimes they fell. That's why today Huashan isn't just an extreme route, but also a carefully managed attraction. And still, even with modern safety measures, this remains one of the most psychologically brutal places on Earth. Because there's no speed, no launch, no countdown, no here we go. There's just you, one step, and the void. And if that's not enough, here's the final detail. The path is a dead end. Once you reach the small temple at the end, you have to go back the exact same way, passing oncoming tourists on those same narrow planks. And somewhere during that return trip, it hits you. It's not terrifying because you might fall. It's terrifying because you chose to come here. So before we move on, be honest. Would you take that step? The glass walkways of Mount Tianmen, China. If the path on Huashan is the fear of taking a step, then the glass walkways of Mount Tianmen are the fear of believing your own eyes. Because here, There is a path under your feet. It's flat, straight, wide, and completely transparent. Mount Tianmen is located in China, near the city of Zhangjiajie. The place itself is unreal. Clouds cling to the peaks, cliffs rise into the sky, and far below, roads and forests disappear into the distance. And along one of those sheer cliffs, they built glass walkways. Not a bridge, not a viewing platform, an actual path running along a vertical rock wall, hundreds of feet above the ground. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Glass is glass, right? It's thick, reinforced, layered. Engineers say it can hold a truck. Tourists nod, guides smile. And then, you take a step. Your brain instantly panics, because it's not used to seeing everything beneath your feet. Every rock, every tree, every single meter of open space. Your legs start acting strange. They don't quite want to cooperate. Your steps get shorter, your knees bend slightly, and suddenly you realize you're walking slower than usual, even though there's no logical reason for it. But there is a reason. You don't trust the floor. There's no cracking glass effect here like in Japan, but even without it, the adrenaline hits so hard that even the calmest visitors grab the handrails, crouch down, squeal, or just freeze in place. Logically, you know everything is fine. It's designed this way. It's a show. It's safe, but your body didn't read the instructions. It's especially tough for the people in front. When no one is ahead of you and the glass path stretches forward, it feels like you're walking on air. Clouds. Rock beside you. Nothing below. Some people walk with their knees half bent. Others crawl. Many instinctively press closer to the cliff, as if the rock itself feels more trustworthy. Physically, this is less dangerous than Huashan. There are railings, there's space, there's solid ground, but psychologically. Now add fog. Mount Tianmen is often wrapped in clouds, and when that happens, the glass walkway turns surreal. You're walking on a transparent floor, and below you, and around you, nothing but white mist. Not a cliff, not the ground, just nothing. That's when the thought appears. What if I slip? Even if you know you won't, even if you know it's calculated, even if you know there's no way to fall off, this attraction doesn't break your body, it breaks your sense of reality. Your eyes see one thing, your body feels another, and your brain desperately tries to make sense of both. When people finally step off the glass walkway, they almost always do the same thing. They turn around, they look back, and only then do they allow themselves to breathe out. Because while you're on that glass, you never fully believe it's already over. Edgewalk CN Tower, Toronto, Canada. If the previous attraction scared you with the drop beneath your feet, Edgewalk scares you in a different way. Here you're walking over a city, at skyscraper height, with hundreds of feet of open air below you, and the noise of the city drifting up from so far away it feels distant, unreal, almost like a toy world. The CN Tower in Toronto isn't just an observation deck, it's one of the tallest structures in North America, and Edgewalk is exactly what it sounds like. A walk along the outer edge of the tower. No walls, no glass. Railings? Nope, just safety cables, a harness clipped to your belt, and a narrow metal platform 168 feet above the ground. The first thing you feel when you approach the edge is simple. This does not feel safe, even when the instructor explains where to step, even when you can see the thick cables and solid anchors. Your brain is already in full panic mode because the horizon is almost at eye level, and below you, nothing. Step 1. You're on the edge. Wind hits you from every direction. It feels like if you lean too far, you'll get blown away like a leaf. And then you start walking, slowly, carefully. Every step feels like a small victory. What makes Edgewalk especially terrifying? There's nothing separating you from danger. Just open air, a metal platform under your feet, a safety line you're gripping like your life depends on it, and your own courage. And the farther you go, the clearer it becomes. Going back is just as scary as going forward. Ahead of you, more edge, more air. People often start laughing. That nervous kind of laugh, when adrenaline is already off the charts. Everyone grips their harness like it's the only thing holding them in the world. Sometimes people freeze, just to pull themselves together before the next step. And then there's the part everyone talks about, leaning out over the edge, feet planted on the platform, body hanging forward, supported only by the safety cable. Almost everyone manages to lean backward. But leaning forward? A lot of people physically can't make themselves do it. And then there's the view. That's the magic of Edgewalk. If you manage to ignore the fear for even a moment, the city opens up beneath you. Skyscrapers, rivers, bridges. It's stunning, but your brain won't let you enjoy it for long. It keeps whispering, you're on the edge. Watch your step. Feel the wind. Don't fall. Every step, every second is a mental workout. There's no speed, no drop, no screaming, just slow, steady, very real fear. And when you finally step back onto the inner platform, it feels like you just passed an exam in courage. Edgewalk isn't a ride in the usual sense. It's a test of how much you trust yourself and your own feet. And yes, it's also one of the most beautiful city views you'll ever see, if you can manage to look without squeezing your eyes shut. Insanity Ride, Las Vegas, USA. If Edgewalk delivers slow psychological fear, then Insanity in Las Vegas is a full-on shock treatment for your body and your brain at the same time. The ride is located on the roof of the Stratosphere Tower. Height? About 866 feet above the ground. Below you, nothing but air. The city looks tiny, like a toy model. And now imagine this. At that height, you're strapped into an open, spinning mechanism that doesn't just rotate. It literally swings you out past the edge of the roof. Yeah, it looks like a carousel, something you rode as a kid. But this is a very different version. A massive mechanical arm extends the riders almost 65 feet beyond the edge of the building. The first rotation, your brain goes, okay, this is kind of funny. The second one, you're screaming. By the third, you realize those screams aren't a choice anymore. They're pure survival reflex. What makes Insanity truly terrifying is the moment the ride speeds up and tilts the seats to a 70-degree angle, like it's trying to throw you off. You're hanging at the edge of the roof, staring straight down at the ground below. The city beneath you is microscopic, and suddenly the danger doesn't feel theoretical anymore. The wind pushes against you. You grip the restraints as hard as you can, like that might somehow save your life. And that's when the thought hits. Why did I agree to this? But it's too late. The ride spins through several rotations, each one a small eternity of fear and adrenaline-fueled chaos. And here's the aftermath. When you step off the ride, your whole body is shaking, your heart is racing, and your brain is trying to process the fact that you just survived one of the most extreme attractions in the world. Unfortunately, Insanity was permanently closed in March 2023. It was dismantled due to maintenance issues and the shutdown of the manufacturing company. But for those who rode it, they'll never forget it. Big Shot Las Vegas, USA. If Insanity spins you and throws you past the edge, Big Shot does just one thing. It launches you straight into the sky, like you've been fired from a massive cannon. Same location, the Stratosphere Tower, same base height, about 866 feet, and then add almost 160 more feet from the ride itself. You sit in an open seat, you strap in, and then lift off. First, they slowly raise you upward. You look down at the city. You breathe. You try to mentally prepare. And then, without warning, you're shot almost straight up. The speed hits about 45 miles per hour, fast enough that it feels like gravity forgets about you for a couple of seconds. And it's not just one launch. Big Shot runs through several rapid cycles. Launch, hang at the top, drop, then launch again. Each cycle is short, but it's a wild mix of fear and pure exhilaration. Some people scream, some laugh, some go completely silent and just hang on, but everyone feels the same adrenaline shock, the kind you remember later as, yeah, I actually did that. Big Shot is a perfect example of fear packaged into a ride. It's fast, it's intense, it's scary, and it's completely safe, but your brain doesn't focus on that. Your brain is still processing the fact that you just flew to the top of a skyscraper and hung there, on the edge of the sky. Takabisha Fuji-Q Highland, Fujiyoshida, Japan. If Las Vegas scares you with sudden launches and spinning rides, Takabisha scares you with pure, absolute free fall. This is a roller coaster, but not a normal one. Takabisha is famous for having the steepest drop in the world, 121 degrees. Yes, steeper than vertical. And yes, your brain refuses to understand how that's even possible. You take your seat. You strap in. Your heart is already racing. The lift begins, slow, painfully slow. Then, a pause. The train stops at the top. You're hanging there, almost vertical. You look straight down. And that's when it hits you. This isn't just a drop. This is a fall that completely breaks your sense of direction. And then, go. The train dives. You feel every second of acceleration. Your fingers go white on the restraints. The scream escapes on its own. Your brain? Completely offline. What makes Takabisha truly terrifying is the hang time before the drop. That single second, when you're ready to fall but haven't yet, is the worst part. It's like a moment of hell. You're at the top, realizing there's no way back. Ahead of you, only the drop, and empty space. After that come loops, twists, and pure adrenaline overload. The ride has 7 inversions, and the whole experience lasts only a couple of minutes. but your brain keeps trying to process it long after it's over. Takabisha isn't just a ride, it's a test of how well you can scream, laugh, and survive, all at the same time. Zip World at Penrhyn Quarry, North Wales, United Kingdom. Now, let's switch continents and head to Wales, a place where thrill seekers don't come for roller coasters, but for a headfirst flight at rocket speed. The main attraction here, Velocity 2, isn't just a zip line. It's a high-speed flight over an old quarry with sweeping views of lakes, mountains, and forests. Your position is pure rocket mode, arms tucked in, eyes forward, and 150 meters of empty space beneath you. The first terrifying moment is the launch. The instructor gives the signal. You push off, and your body instantly understands this is not a casual ride. The speed builds immediately, up to 160 kilometers per hour. The wind slams into your face, your hair whips against your skin, and you're not just flying, you're flying downward, face first. There are no pauses here, no solid ground beneath you, just gravity, the harness, and your own nerves. Every meter feels like a small survival challenge. The scariest part is when the line stretches straight over the abyss. Below you, water, rock, forest, and the unmistakable feeling that you were suspended in midair. You realize this isn't a simulation. This is real adrenaline, the kind that makes you scream, laugh, and feel completely, undeniably alive. The line is about 1,600 meters long, but you fly through it so fast you barely notice the distance. Velocity 2 is the kind of experience where fear and euphoria merge into one. And once you've done it, you'll never forget what true free flight feels like. Catapult, Devo Island Park, St. Petersburg, Russia. Some rides scare you with height, some scare you with speed, and then there's Catapult, the one that scares you with sheer inevitability. There's no long build-up, no scenic climb, no time to get used to it. You sit down in the spherical cabin, they strap you in, you look straight ahead, and up. That's it. The scariest part? The silence before launch, a few seconds where nothing happens. You hear other people screaming somewhere nearby. You feel the straps pressing you tight into the seat. And then it hits you. There's no going back. And then you're launched into the sky. Not slowly lifted, not gradually accelerated. You're fired, fast, brutally, no warning. Your body slams into the seat, your breath is gone, and your brain just stops thinking. You shoot up almost vertically, 80 meters in 4 seconds. The ground disappears instantly. The park below turns into a tiny model. For a split second, it feels like you might never stop. Then, pause. Short, very short, but terrifying. You hang there for a fraction of a second, and your brain thinks, this is it, and this is it. The fall begins. Not smooth, not graceful, sharp, sudden, like someone yanked you back down, and they did. Your stomach jumps, your eyes close on their own. Someone screams, but even they won't remember what. And as a grand finale, your seat spins wildly inside the sphere, bouncing up and down like a spring. And then, it's over. Just like that, you're sitting. The ride stopped. People are laughing around you, and your body still can't believe it's done. Catapult isn't a long adventure, it's pure adrenaline, condensed into a few seconds, and maybe that's why it's scarier than a lot of the world-famous giants. Leap of Faith, Water Slide, the Bahamas. The name of this slide literally means leap of faith. And honestly, that's probably the most accurate translation you could ever give it, because when you're standing at the top, logic doesn't help anymore. All you have left is faith, faith in the engineers, faith in the structure, and faith that everything's going to end okay. From the outside, it looks almost harmless. Water park, sun, water, people in swimsuits, sipping cocktails. But then you step up to the edge of the slide, and you realize it's almost vertical. Below, a pool filled with live Caribbean reef sharks and blacktip sharks. In front of you is a narrow opening. Down there, you can't see a thing, just the dark tube, and somewhere far below, a glint of water. You lie down, cross your arms over your chest, like the instructors tell you. And sure, you know the sharks are behind thick glass, but that thrill, that shake in your body, it doesn't go away. You drop, 18 meters straight down, not sliding, not gliding. You're falling. Speed builds instantly. Air is ripped out of your lungs. You can't even scream. Your first yell comes halfway down. Your body loses track of up and down and how much further you have to go. Then, sudden light, water, splash, and the world snaps back like someone yanked you straight into reality. You surface, breathe, laugh, look back at the slide from below and realize you didn't even see the sharks. Your fall was that fast, and you think, wait, is it over already? Leap of faith is the perfect example that fear doesn't always have to be complicated. Sometimes all it takes is just stepping into the unknown, where you can't see the bottom. Fear is a strange thing. We spend our whole lives avoiding it, and then we pay money just to feel it again and again. Every ride in this video exists for one reason. People want to feel alive. Height, speed, the void beneath your feet, and that exact moment when you realize there's no turning back, and it's in that moment that you truly feel alive. So maybe it's not about adrenaline or extreme thrills. Maybe it's just about stepping, just for a few seconds, out of your comfort zone. If this video made you stop and think, then it wasn't for nothing. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Where's your personal fear threshold? See you in the next video. It'll be higher, faster, and even scarier.